Hi guys, I don't really know how to how to do this one. Normally, I'm very sort of I've got a formula for this kind of thing, but this one I just don't. I'm kind of just talking. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I just felt like I don't know. Look at this, I'm fucking shaking. Um, I just kind of wanted to talk about, Trevor and some of the sort of experiences that I've had because today on my way home was the first time I have been able to listen to this band in about 5 months, really. The first time I heard anything was when it's sort of like a sneak attack because the new Revocation album and it had a guest spot with Trevor on it. And It's just made me feel all sorts of feelings, really. I really, really miss him so much. I wasn't best friends with him by any means. I'm not trying to claim I'm, the best friend or whatever. But he just, I don't know. It's really hard to put into words. Anytime that he was in the UK, we would always hang out. We would, be at the show. I'd interviewed him multiple times, like either on camera or for my zine and stuff. And we kind of we grew close from them and just hanging out, but also during the pandemic, we were messaging on Instagram and stuff. Just about silly things like cats and video games and stuff like that. But he was just such a lovely, lovely man, and I just haven't been able to even go near the Black Dahlia Murder stuff. But today was like the first day where I was like, I think I can do this. I think I can sort of give this a go. And it was all sorts of emotions. I think on the way home I listened to Verminous, Abysmal, and Nightbringers. And it was just like I couldn't stop. It was so weird. It was like a combination of like being sad, but also remembering like some of the fucking amazing times I've had seeing some of these songs live. Yeah, it just reminded me of that feeling that you get when your favorite band ever comes on stage and you lose all control. And I don't really know why I'm doing this video. I just kind of think it's sort of a way of processing what's happened. I was about to go into a Fit for an Autopsy show on the 11th of May when I saw the news, and it just felt like basically all the cliches, I just felt like the rug had just been pulled up from underneath me and I couldn't even talk. Like Laura came back from the bar with a beer at this pub just outside the venue, and I was just I still can't really sort of form sentences around it, and it's really, 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 really affected me, and I think always will do. I love Trevor. I love Trevor. I think he sort of his spirit is always going to live on in music, in my memories, and I think he's just like this band. Actually, it's not even. Of course, it's him, but like this band is just, it means so much to everyone, and like the Blast Fiends are just insane. It just blows my mind how devoted this fan base are, and just how I don't know, just the Black Dahlia just make me feel. They just make me feel like they are the best band in the world, and they are such lovely, lovely people. I've met all of them. They are beyond the kindest people. And I think this kind of comes from the Decibel article, which if you guys haven't heard, they are continuing. And I think it's the only conclusion that this band could have had. Ryan is coming back on guitar. So it will be Brandon and Ryan, which is amazing because I think Ryan's guitar solos are some of my favorite ever. And it's, the pupil and the master coming back together. It's just going to be nuts. And Brian is taking over vocals. I don't know what the future will hold for the band, but they are going to play a show. I wish I could go, but it's all the way out in Detroit and I don't have that kind of money, but I would absolutely love to go. But I don't know. I have very limited experience with grief. You know, the biggest experience I've had was when my granddad passed, which was 3 years ago. And I'd been listening to A Dawn to Fear by Cult of Luna a lot beforehand. And then it was the first album that I put on, I think, after I got the call. And I haven't been able to, I think I've listened to it, you know, like a handful of times. Like literally you could count on this hand how many times. And it's felt like that with the Black Dahlia Murder for a very, 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 very long time. And today is the first time that I was actually like, no, I think I can do this. Like it's still weird. Like I'm still kind of stumbling over my sentences and not really knowing what I'm talking about. But I think that's just kind of how you work with grief. You don't really know what to do, or you know how to feel. And in a way, I felt like weirdly guilty of how sort of upset I've been, because obviously, you know, like I said, I wasn't best friends with him, but you know, we shared more than just an interview. Do you know what I mean? Like I would say we were friends, and I just fucking miss him, man. And it was the first time today that I was just like, this is amazing. We'll always have this piece of him, and everyone can tap into their own memories that they have. You know, like Ever Black reminds me of that tour with Revocation and Aborted. Ritual reminds me of when I was going through a really hard time with a girlfriend, and it was something that kind of like brought me through that. Nightbringers reminds me of when I'd had all my fucking filming stuff and I gave it to my mate and I was just like, look, I have to go and mosh for like an hour and a half. I said to him, don't worry, I'm not gonna mosh or anything. And then the second that Widowmaker intro came on, I was just like, nope, I've gotta go, sorry. Even Nocturnal actually reminds me of high school, which was the first time I'd heard of the Black Dahlia Murder. Deflorate was the first time I was working in HMV and I bought the album. And then, of course, you get to share all these moments with all the different fans and the band. And, you know, like, I'm very lucky that I get to meet people and interview them. And, you know, that never sort of gets old. And especially with the Black Dahlia Murder, like, I just love this band and I love the people. So I think, you know, this news has kind of galvanized me to kind of feel like, yeah, okay, maybe I can take that sort of next step. And like I said, I don't know what the point of this video is. I'm just kind of talking. But I just felt like I needed to get it out, basically. And I was on the way home kind of thinking, am I going to do this? I don't know. I just needed to talk, I think. And this is kind of almost like a form of therapy. And I think, you know, I've not really sort of said all this because I try and kind of keep things, I guess, a little bit private sometimes on the channel. But, you know, the last sort of 5 months have not been easy. Like it's, you know, I've gone from moments of fucking, you know, like getting too drunk and crying and just not knowing how to deal with this and just trying to kind of navigate it, I guess. And there was one thing that my wife said once, which has always really resonated with me, which is that grief is like a backpack and you don't necessarily take it off, but you just learn to carry the weight. And I think I'm just kind of learning to carry the weight, and also remembering Trevor for everything that he was able to do and did during his time here. It's really weird, you know. I thought it would be easy to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's really not. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't even sure about sort of showing this in the video, but like I bought this t-shirt with, you know, I think maybe one intention of wearing it, and I haven't even, it's just been sat in my cupboard. So don't really know how to end this. There's no sort of conclusion, but yeah, just we miss you, Trevor, so much, so much. Yeah, thanks for listening.